Someone Like You Episode 1 of Reflection of You begins with a woman named Hee Joo, according to Netflix subtitles, reflecting on the hell she's been through. Blood spatters up a family portrait and soaks the floor as Hee Joo weeps. As she heads out into the middle of a lake, dumping a crate and watching it sink, we cut back in time to an art gallery featuring numerous paintings. Hee Joo is a successful artist, having appeared on the cover of numerous monthly magazines. She's even had books published too. Midway through her latest sketch, Lisa rings and urges her to show up at the hospital. The girl sports a nasty cut across her cheek where she's been bullied at school. Only, it turns out it was actually a teacher that struck her. Outraged, Hee Joo storms into school and demands a meeting. Her mother is there to lend a helping hand too, demanding that they fire this woman and issue a public apology too. That evening, Hee Joo speaks to her husband, Sung, who happens to be over in Ireland, in a small town called Sligo. He's in hospital, there to visit a mysterious man who's unconscious. As the camera pans down, the name tag reads John Doe, so it seems like they don't know who he is. Does Sung? Back in Korea, Hee Joo finds out who this substitute teacher is that struck Lisa. It turns out her name is Go Hee-won and she's clearly in a rough way. Hanging her head, she greets Hee Joo and nonchalantly apologizes for her actions. Hee-won claims what she did was punishment for what Lisa originally did, going on to justify our actions. Hee Joo is not happy and eventually smacks the teacher with a book, watching as she falls to the floor like a sack of potatoes. However, she does all of this in view of a security camera, which doesn't help her case much, especially when Hee-won decides to press charges and sue her. Now, Hee-won claims she had a good reason to slap Lisa, but she must have hit her pretty hard. In fact, the slap seems to have ruptured Lisa's eardrum, who heads in to get seen to by a specialist. Despite this teacher being suspended, Hee Joo can't stop thinking about her influence and what may have transpired between her and Lisa in the past. When Sung returns to Korea again, the pair chat about what's transpired. However, they don't have to wait for long before Hee-won shows up again. In fact, it's Hee Joo's mom who notices first, given Hee-won has filed a medical report following her initial assault charge against Hee Joo. That evening, Lisa heads back and bemoans that she'll be given a new tutor. She's pretty nonchalant over Hee-won being dismissed from school though, and it soon becomes clear why as night turns to day. Lisa's room is locked and with little Hosu leaving with Sang, Hee Joo is left alone with her thoughts. When she looks out the window, she finds Hee-won staring from afar. Banging on the door soon follows, prompting our protagonist to drop her cup on the floor in fright, shattering the china into pieces. Hee-won is staring at her, and eventually knocks on the door, dropping to her knees and apologizing. Apparently she recognizes Hee Joo from the past, prompting our artist to drag her into the house to confront her properly. In fact, Hee-won is going to drop the charges completely and marvels that she's now a painter after all these years. It turns out Hee-won was originally going by the name of Hannah, which was her German alias. She's lost her passion for art though, despite being so enthused in the past, and is now struggling to make ends meet. Hee-won keeps losing her patience because of this too, apologizing for her anger. Hee Joo has heard enough and decides to call security, determined to escort Hee-won off the premises. Remember that unconscious man in the hospital? Well, it turns out someone called Hannah arrived beforehand and requested he be released. She even came prepared with paperwork to confirm as much too. Sung is certainly confused, but so far we are not actually sure to the extent of this family's history with her. As the episode closes out, Hee Joo realizes that Hee-won didn't actually come to the house to apologize. There's an ulterior motive at play here. As Hee Joo heads out to try and find the young woman, Hee-won grins in secret and utters "I found you" before skipping away.